Kacy Duke.
Woo!
To a good time.
To a good time.
I have a feeling that this is going to go in so many different directions. You seem like an open book. Very go with the flow. Have you always been like that? Has that always been your disposition?
Pretty much.
Really?
Pretty much.
Awesome.
Pretty much. I think sometimes people say beat to a little different drum, but I don't know what it is. I just love me or hate me, I'm no bullshit, and I don't want that anybody else. So I have to try to be as authentic as possible, and sometimes it's not that easy sometimes with people, but you have to try to find the essence of you, whatever the circumstances may be, so that you never get lost.
So would anybody that, if I was to go back to maybe a childhood friend and say, well, here we are, however many years later, would you have imagined Kacy Duke to be doing what she does, living the life that she leads, being the person that she is?
My friends probably would have said yes. Because I've always I always had big dreams. I used to say to my mom, I don't know what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say something really profound, really big. I don't even use the word profound. I said, I'm going to say something really big. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to say something really big to the world. So I don't know if that's happened yet, but I'm working on it.
Well, I think it is. Are you at a point now? Are you allowed to talk about something that's about to be coming out in the near future? Let's say within Netflix.
Yes, finally. It's pretty exciting. I mean, it's a story that Netflix actually bought from, I believe, New York Magazine. One of the writers, Jessica Kessler, and she wrote this great story that I'm a part of, and it's a hard story because it's a New York story about a young woman who was a con person. I think that I wasn't the only one who was con, but she came to me for fitness and wellness and life coaching, and she was really good. And we kind of I was drawn into this story, but thank goodness, I was really trying to help her at the same time of trying to find the truth of what was happening. And I guess it made a pretty good story because Netflix bought it, and they bought my life rights, which is very interesting when you are part of it. Is that
normal? Do they normally do that?
I think when it's a real story about a real person and they want to use the person's name, it is, I guess it's normal. It's the first time I've ever had this happen to me. But it's exciting that something that was a bit uneasy in my life turned out to be something that is really helping me. And so, it's like I can say, well, thank you to the woman Anna, who the story is all about, her shenanigans and her lack of confidence in herself to be truthful with people. And look what happens. Yeah. Sometimes it just works out that the things you really want to do and be known for. And with me, I wanted to be, I always strive to be the best fitness wellness coach I can be. And I want to reach masses of people, and just to be able to state what I do and help them to become, better versions of themselves, as it helps me to do the same. And something like this Netflix gets me out there and more the public eye than I've ever been. And it's exciting and scary at the same time, but also groundbreaking. So they just let people know who the cast is going to be. And we start shooting. I mean, they're setting up everything now and building sets and stuff here, and then Morocco, and so it's pretty exciting.
They're bringing it to right to where it happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's exciting, and I mean, it's too long a story, but check New York Magazine and look for the Anna Delvey story, and you'll see where they're going.
Anna, what's the last name?
Delvey. Delvey, I believe. Delvey.
Okay. And who's playing you?
Well, that's interesting because this is groundbreaking, and I'm really, really proud to. Shonda Rhimes is from,
Grey's Anatomy,
How to Get Away with Murder.
Murder.
I mean, I'm excited. She's the writer, and she chose someone who was really excellent. I was a little like put back at first, and then I said, this is so weird, but so right. Because I've had a very interesting life, and you have to come from, I want someone to play me who has empathy and who has concern for others, but have been through their own challenges, that they can understand it when someone else is trying to build a better life for themselves, a better body for themselves, a better, mindset. And I know who I didn't want to play me, and which we won't discuss here, but there's a woman, but she's a transgender woman. Her name is Laverne Cox. I have a friend her name is Renee Cox. I was like, she's on my mind. But Laverne Cox, she was in Orange is the New Black. Mm-hmm. And this is the first time that a transgender woman is actually going to play a real person. I mean, a person that's not
heterosexual.
Fiction. Yeah. And I think it's about time. It's non-traditional casting, I'm sure, but
did you have any say in that?
Yeah, Sandra, she called and she said, this is who I'd like to offer the role to. And I was like, a transgender woman? And she says, yes. And I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't, expecting that. But then I said, it's so kind of weird, but it's so right. Because I just felt like, I know that she has a great story, I'm sure, because to actually go through something like that, she has to have some strength of self and determination, and I'm just excited because I think, I look at it as that I don't really know how it will be for her to play me because she's the actress, but I'm very proud that a beautiful woman and a really great actress is going to play me in a Netflix series. So that's kind of interesting. I think it's time to, let's let life just move on for people. We are all, love is love, and we are all, going through this time, and we don't need anything that's like destructive or prejudices around any of us. We just need to like really live life like it's golden, and I think it's great, and I'm happy to be a part of such a groundbreaking.
That's great. Yeah. Now, will she spend time with you to get to know you, to get a better understanding of kind of how you operate and the types of clientele? We had our first meeting. We spent the day together, and I worked her out, and that's a good. Why not live it firsthand?
Yeah, and we're going to be working together. And when she starts to shoot, I'm developing sequences so she can see. So she's, shadowing me to see how I work, my mannerisms, and so I think it's going to be great. And she's absolutely gorgeous, and so I was like, and she's taller than I am, darn it. But and she's younger than I am, but she's playing my age, and I think that I'm excited. It's just like, my son, when I told my son, he said, really? She says, Mommy, that's so great. And I don't know what he was going to say when I said that. Well, Laverne Cox, he says, oh my God, she's great. She says, Mommy, well, that makes so much sense to me. All the work you do for the gay community and all the stuff that God's let me deliver and all this stuff. He said, Mom, both my godfathers are gay. He went through this whole thing. He says, of course, this is perfect. Oh my God, this is so great for you, Mom. And I was like, I love my son.
Yeah, good job. Yeah.
I wanted to raise an amazing human being, and I did.
Great job. So as we were talking, the more in terms of what you do, I know that you're, to the celebrities, you are there. Sounds to me more of like a more life coach than trainer.
Well, I think it depends. Yeah, I think it depends. Sometimes, it always turns out that way because there's a certain trust, when you work with a personal trainer or, you have a doctor. We're in the service business. And so, there's a certain amount of trust that comes along with it. So sometimes, I do both. And sometimes it's really the physical, but that always tends to lead into how I work is I don't work with just the physical. I call it the three elements of self. It's mindset, motivation, and movement. Mindset, motivation, movement. It's the emotional, spiritual, and physical. It's I am, I can, I do are the words that I use to describe those three elements because if you notice, the physical is the last component. So the mindset, the motivation, the mindset is like how you feel about yourself. What do you think of yourself? What do you want to maybe change about yourself? And that's the I am. It's always, I am fat, I am this, I'm sad, I'm great, I am this. So it's more or less you have to come clean with yourself, and state where you're at, however flawed you may think that is, and then you can go about transforming it. And then the second part is, so after the mindset, you have the motivation. Like, what do I do to motivate myself for positive change? Do I find take a class, go, do something, hire a personal trainer. I always say shameless plug, and, get a video, do something. What do I do to motivate myself to start stepping up, to be more present in my own development? And then the physical is the last component. It's, it's what you do. It's working out. It's all that. It's not the end all, the be all. It's the icing on the cake. Some people put so much element on that physical part that they forget that the other two will be the one. If you strengthen one, you become stronger, but you strengthen all three, like you become your potential, so that those three give you the tools to say, okay, I may have work to do it myself, but I'm going to do it. And like, how do I do it? And then like, wow, I'm doing it. So it's, fitness is not always just about looking at the end result and one size fits all. It's about how can you really be the best expression of you, the best everything, body, mind, spirit.
So if I'm hearing you right, the foundation is the mindset and the physical is the third piece. The
third piece.
So you need these other things first.
Yeah. And that's why when I start a client, even when I remember I was working with Denzel in the movie, and I would say
Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington. Yep. And I said, you got to show it love, celebrate the body you have, get the body you want. I could throw out my Kacyisms on everybody, and it was weird because I say, turn to the mirror. I said, and thank your stomach, thank your butt, thank everybody. He said, what? I said, say thank you. He said, well, thank you. Thank you. And I said, thank you for the, because you might have needed the padding for the road. You never know. Yeah. So just like, thank you. And he was like, oh, this is quirky, but thank you. But then what happens is everybody starts laughing. Everybody starts saying, well, oh, thank you, ass, and thank you, this. So it starts to be, it relaxes and it gets away all the angst and negative energy you may come in with. And it gives you a chance to just like laugh. And from there, it always starts out better, And then one day I came in and it was, I had a busy weekend. And he says, how you doing? I said, and I was like, oh, I ate too much. I feel like my ass is having a bad day. He said, show it love, show it love. And I said, so he threw it right back at me. So I always think about that, show it love. So, it's really about, knowing what you want to change, but kind of doing it in a sense with some love and appreciation, because, your body holds you up through so many things, through illness, through childbirth, through stress, through everything. And you just have to realize that it's, you've got to respect it more. I mean, movement is a privilege. It is a privilege to move. And if you can move, you should, even if that's walking. I have a hip flexor tear. I can't run anymore right now. Hopefully when it's fixed that I'll be back. But if not, I'll walk or I'll bike. I'll do something, because
that's funny you say that. So I went to college, it's called Quinnipiac, and they mainly have a big physical therapy program. And my roommate, he was a PT major, and ever since working, he worked with, I forgot, it wasn't a quadriplegic, but it was but he had the exact same saying. And he said movement is a privilege. Yep. And what he would never take an elevator. He didn't care what, whatever, it doesn't matter how many flights that he's got to go. He goes, I do it for, I forgot the person's name we worked with. He goes, because I know that he would love more than anything to be able to have the opportunity to climb those stairs. So who am I to not take, I do not take anything for granted.
Exactly. And it's so interesting because at this time in the fitness world of wellness and it's not just about the physical flash anymore. Like, people are doing like runs for charity. They're doing, all these different things to help other people. You can see where it's like there's so much motivation when it comes time to like really getting out there and moving, whether you're doing a yoga class or whatever, especially when you do it for a cause. It's like how that makes you even feel better. And sometimes you go out there, so I've never done a power walking race before, and all of a sudden you're doing it for a really worthy cause, and it just gets you started. You know what I'm saying? And people say, well, I don't know, don't have the time to do it. Try that first. And that'll show you, because you're walking for someone, or you're running for someone. It could really ignite something in you,
So what's the biggest blockage that you have when you're working with people? Do you ever have to work with people that have never worked out before, and this is a big chore to them, or do they embrace, all right, Kacy, bring me home?
That's a really good question, because I don't get as many first time exercises as I used to get. I mean, as I've grown in the industry, and people come to me because they've heard from something else, or from a magazine, or from a TV thing, they tend to have had their, an idea of what, whether they've taken classes, they have had a membership in a club. So it never comes to me too dry. But what I get sometimes is when they're looking for that next level, like if sometimes women who have just had babies, they come and I just want my body back. I just want the way I used to look. And I was like, why? Go for better. Go for more. I'm in much better shape after I had my kid years ago than I am now. It's like, much better shape now than when I was before my son, who's 32. But that was ways, years ago. But still, I find them when they come in, they say, I just want what I had. And I was like, and they said, yeah, why not? I was like, because the past is done. The past is your teacher. The present is your creation, and the future is your inspiration. So you want to stay in the past, but you don't want to stay back there too much. You want to know, you know what you want from that, but then you can go for more. It's like, what are you inspired to do? So by me saying, why do you want to go back to that? Go for better. So that you don't have your eye on something that already happened, and you're trying to get back there, that you don't even see what's in front of you, what you can really do to transform your body in a different way. Because I'm a different kind of a trainer than maybe you had at that time, and I can manipulate your muscles a little differently. So it makes you more open to like, all right, let's go on this adventure. That's better than just saying, I'm going to go on a treadmill. I just want to work out. I just want to do my, it's like, I love the adventure of it. I never kind of like know exactly what I'm going to do when I see a client. I wait, and then I have an idea maybe what I did before, but then I wait, and then I let their body kind of talk. I'm a very intuitive trainer, and I say, okay, let's do this. I just can feel, and I like muscle manipulation, because everybody, whether you're a large size woman or a very, small man, or a big muscle bound guy, or just like a frail or an obese woman, everybody can have beautiful lines to their bodies. And that's what muscle fiber targeting is all about how you work. You don't need heavy weights all the time. Everybody can have beautiful lines as they kind of come down with their, do better with their diet, do better with their cardio. But you can look at a woman, and even a large size woman, and say, wow, she's got beautiful lines to her body. She looks healthy. I know a lot of very unhealthy, skinny people. So it's not just about that, so it's important to enjoy the journey of fitness, not have your eye on the Emerald City, that you don't enjoy the yellow brick road. I love that.
That's good. That is good.
As a Kacy, it's a few more of those before the day's over.
I have a feeling they're going to be coming out. So how often then do you look at someone and do you know intuitively? You talked about intuition, what they need, or do you have to sit down and talk them through to understand where they'd like to see themselves?
Well, when they first walk in, I sized you up already. So, you can do this, that, you can do that. It's just what I do, because it's like, no. You look great. You don't have anything to do. But when they first walk in, of course, but I'll usually say, what's your wish list? And they will give up, well, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. And that's how it always starts. Always the hate comes first. Right. and then I'll say, okay. And then, but what do you like? And they never can say what they love about themselves. They just what they hate, that comes out like rapid fire.
Well, why do you think that is?
I think part of it is because they have, sometimes it's society, and they've seen things that, that they felt like they can never be. I used to have people come and say, I want Jennifer Aniston arms, and I want Angelina Jolie's legs. And I would always say, okay. I said, well, they have theirs. Let's see what we can do for you. And that's how, because I don't want to burst their bubble and say, you can't stretch your bones, girl. Yeah. Or, you can't do that. But I can say, okay, well, they have their body. Let's see what we can do for you. And then I have people who say, I say, remember when you wanted, Angelina Jolie's leg? They said, I never said that. I said, oh, yes, you did. They said, oh, no, I love who I look like now. I love myself now. So it's, it is a process, but you have to be a good listener and see what they are about. And then you can go about weaving your own philosophy. And because first they just I want a great body. That's all they want. They don't realize that it's the mindset that helps them to get there. Mm. So it takes, and then I'll say, well, can I tell you my wish list? And they'll say, oh yeah. And I'll say, well, I could bring this in here. I like to see this curve in there. Yeah. And I said, this could be a little bit here. And I said, just thin this out ever so slightly over here. I said, but then you have a great this. And they go, yeah. And all of a sudden it's become, that's exactly what I wanted. and of course it doesn't have anything to do with anybody, any celebrity. But, so it's important to, this is real for people when they, in society, you look through magazines and it's like what you should look like, what you should wear, how your hair should be, how much you should get Botox in your face, how much you can get this and the, it's a lot of that going around. Of course, people are going to feel, inadequate in some ways. And what can they do to change it when they don't realize just the idea of loving and accepting yourself can bring a whole new energy to your health, to your life, to your face,
So when did you incorporate this type of philosophy into your training? Was that from the get-go, or how did you learn about this?
Well, I think that my background, like the Kacy Duke, the early years, was track and field in school and then dance class after school. And so those two components, it was, I would say power and grace. And so when it came down to choosing which direction I wanted to go into as a career, at first I chose dance, which it wasn't right for me. It just wasn't what I thought it would be. Yeah. And so, fitness was such a natural thing because I can bring the power of and the strength of track and field and the athleticism of that with the grace of dance. And I combine them together and just develop, movement classes and that were really easy to follow and that pumped and elongate the body and had like rhythm that wasn't like, wasn't overly choreographed. And so that's kind of what put me on the map, or my movement classes. And they were so driven and emotionally driven because it was like letting go and moving, and that people say it's like going to church. They would be crying in class and like moving, and it would be like, this is a little bit much. But it was because it was about releasing, letting go, and it wasn't just about, oh, can I do this step or can I do that step? They were like, I can't believe I'm doing this, because it would just like fold into each other, and I think that was both the combination of what I've learned from the athleticism of track and field and the discipline of that, and with the dance world, the sense of grace and lengthening the body. So I think that it just kind of came together for me. But with having gone through both sides of that and seeing like the emotional difficulties on both sides of it, made me realize that it does take the mind first. And as I grew spiritually, I would choose different, teachers that I would learn from, and it's helped me to grow. Just
when you talk about teachers, are you talking about more like philosophical teachers, or are you talking about trainers, other trainers, or both?
Not exactly other trainers, although that I I'm the eternal student, so I'm always looking for the new next thing and how to make it my own. But also, I have to feed my soul, so I have people that I've turned to, whether they've been gurus and priests and or Buddhist monks, or there's something to learn in every modality of whether that's religion or just the idea of self-love or of love of others, or how to become a deliberate creator, non-denominational thinking, science of mind. I mean, that was always calling me, positive thinking. So, some people are just kind of born more intuitive than others. We all have it, but some people are more developed. And my mom was and she suspected I had that kind of a gift at some point. And we, through help from her, I started venturing out and finding, mentors to help me just develop the idea of creating, you know, your own reality or just, you know, putting things out, putting here what you want, not what you don't want. Because you can always put here what we don't want, you know, but it's to maintain the focus of the things you really want and cherish in your life. And you want to put them there. And even if they don't happen right away, you know that they're there in that focus. And there's a little something that you're always like, boom, boom, boom.
So how do you do that with your clients? How do you keep them, how do you keep the eye on the prize?
I think, you know, when they first come, when I do the mirror exercise saying, you know, say thank you to your body, and they're like, what? And I said, because, and when I say it, you know, as far as with their belly or their butt, and with their stomach, it's their creative center for everyone. This is like where you feel pain and you feel angst and you feel everything comes in here. And like it's and especially for women, it's like it just will hit you. It's just, this is your, you know, your creative center. And, usually I just say, you know, you might have needed this for the pattern. You might have gained this weight because you needed to. You know, you might have had to put this weight on because this is what your body needed at this time. Now you can go about transforming it. So say thank you and move on. And when you can do that, you have less negative energy holding you and you looking at what was, you know, and like you can move towards the future. So eventually when they get it, they go, that makes so much sense. And then when we're working to, oh, Kacy, I said, I say, show it love. So it takes time, but you make it so that they want to be able to be inspired at what's coming, you know?
Are you helping them create new patterns? Is that kind of?
Well, I try to, you know, I mean, you know, they, and sometimes they go, oh, here Kacy goes, oh, here she goes again. Because I just, you know, I try to show them by that particular thought process of you always looking at the worst about yourself that you think is worst about yourself. Like, oh God, I hate my thighs, or, you know, it starts there, you know, but then it goes off into other things that you might have had a bad relationship or bad this, and you don't realize that was a moment. You don't have to keep repeating those patterns. You can integrate them so they become like your radar, so you'll know what not to do. You know, they'll go ding, 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 ding. Okay, not going there, and you can kind of move on and go about, you know, changing it. Those triggers, you know. So I think, you know, I truly believe that the people that I work with, whether they stayed with me for some of them 15, 16, 20 years, I've had clients, and that's the truth, or they've come, you know, once or twice and I never see them again. But every time I hear from them or somebody hears, they said, I so loved working with Kacy, that girl. So it's always, you know, you touch someone and that they'll take some of that with you. Sometimes, you know, a client is not forever. And, you know, they come in, some clients come and go, especially in the celebrity world, because, you know, they move on, they move to LA, they move here or there. But you know that whenever you see them, they always like, oh my God, Kacy. And so it's always that. So you know, you there's something.
You've touched something.
It's something, you know. And they've touched me because they've gave me the opportunity to really work with them and to know them. And that's, I mean, I don't want to make light that, you know, I can, you know, I never felt I was meant to be a trainer in a gym wearing someone else's shirt or whatever. I've been self-employed and done my own thing. And it hasn't always been easy, but I've done it. But it's like this, you know, the celebrities have helped my career tremendously, and that's been a good thing for me. So I mean, it's not like it's just because it's once in a while. It helps.
Yeah. How did you get into the celebrity niche? Has it been a long time?
I never really understood how, but I mean, it's like when I do a workshop or a lecture with other trainers and fitness professionals, they always want to, how do you make it the celebrities? And I was like, I don't have that answer but I only know is if you take care of the sense will take care of itself. So I can't say how. Somehow, my first, you know, celebrity was this commercial for a Diet Coke commercial, and this guy Lucky Vanos, and he was the Diet Coke hunk. And, I mean, it's pretty cute. He was really, you know, he came to me and I worked on his app for this commercial, and then he became a sensation, and you know, they hired me to choreograph his video, and then we went all over the doggone world with this one commercial, and this one guy became this phenomenon. And it's like that video was probably one of my best videos. People still, and it's not even
how do people find it? What's spelled the last name? Vanos, Vanos?
Vanos.
Oh, Vanos. Okay.
Vanos.
So someone wants to
Lucky
find it on
Vanos.
YouTube. Lucky, like Lucky.
Yeah, Lucky Vanos. And he's still alive. So I was like, Lucky, he's still hot, I hope. I haven't seen him in years, but he was a great guy, and it was wonderful. It was a dream come true. And I was like, what is this? We were in like every music store, like record store had us in the window. It was really crazy, and it was my my first time working with someone. I mean, I was doing like TV stuff at that time, but nothing like this was like for me, like, wow, it was great. And then the next one was Denzel, and that was, and so I think that people saw that I did this person, and then, people assistants talk to assistants, and, studio heads talk to studio heads, and they find people who, if they've done a great job and the client, finds them, credible and easy to work with, and and personal training is personal, so that you keep but you see them as real people. Celebrities are no different than you and I. They they do everything the same, and they have to fight for their careers, so just be in awe of them. It's just, you just can't be. Once you start working with them, you realize that you're there to do a job. But it's still pretty cool to, travel and be with them and go, wow, I'm sitting here with who? Yeah. This person, that. So it's like, it's a lot of fun. But again, my bread and butter clients are really important to me because they're always around and always supporting me and always being there. And I love working with them. So
how long does it typically take you if someone comes to you? Is there a life cycle of an engagement with you? Is it like, okay, 6 months. This is what it's going to take to transform. Or, you know what, you're really looking at 2 years. Or sometimes there are people, that have an event coming up that they really need you to go hardcore on.
It's something like that. If they have an event or they're getting in shape for a role or they have a wedding, I mean, then we put a timeline on it, But when they're coming to me to really get into shape and have a better life and a healthier existence, it's you have results the first time. It's the start. I mean, like, you'll feel that the next day, not just the soreness because your ass will be sore, your legs, everything. I work muscles you never knew you had. So that tends to so they know, wow, it's changed already. So the moment that you actually start, it starts the transformation. Yeah. And the more that you are that you're committed and you are doing the work you need to do, because I can't do it all. I mean, like part of your health regime is your nutrition, and it's not like you have to go to a nutritionist, but there's certain things that if it's tending to show, not show too well on your body, maybe you should pull back from that. But I believe in healthy eating. I don't think that you have to be a vegan or this or that. I think that you can do what you want to do in a way where, but it's everything, moderation, and for me, from Monday through Thursday, I don't go off my program. I don't have any alcohol or anything. And then by, Thursday night, Friday afternoon or whatever evening, I'll have a glass of wine or I'll do something and I'll just get right back on it. That's just how I work.
That's your discipline, yeah.
So I will find a way. What's your discipline? How do you want to do this? And I would suggest them, why don't you just during the week do this, and then on the weekends do this, or maybe on the weekends try that, so that it doesn't feel like you have to have a cheat day. Because that doesn't make any sense to me. Why you have to cheat yourself? It's like you live in your life. It's like it's helping you to be able to say, you know what, today is Wednesday, but I'm going to have one, but you know what? Maybe I won't have it on Saturday. So you can actually, ride your own rhythm. Find a way to be mindful of your health.
Do a bigger holistic approach.
Yeah. So just being mindful. I think when they say that, mindfulness is being aware of the things that help your life and the things that are not good for you, and just eliminate what you feel like you need to.
How important to your success would you say is your ability to establish the rapport and the relationships with your clients? Whether it's from a trust standpoint, whether it's for, trust on a lot of levels, getting them to trust that what you say is going to work, and then obviously the trust of just general trust when it comes to.
I think the relationship is very important. Yeah. I think, I always know when my assistant always, she'll book a trial session first. Just Kacy wants to meet you, take a few minutes and meet before they commit to. I won't commit anyone until I meet them first, because some people are just not for you. Yeah. And you have to know that I am not for everybody. Yeah. And everybody's not for me. And I'd rather not waste their time, because if you coming to me because you want to be with a celebrity trainer, and you just like, and every time you pick up, oh, gotta answer this phone, I'm with my celebrity trainer, you know she trains, and like, if you're there for that reason, then you're not for me, So there are some people who have come to me and they just wanted the idea of saying that, and it wasn't for really the work. They would just like to brag about it, well, she trained, and that was kind of a weird thing for me. So I meet everyone, and when you meet one-on-one and you can talk to them about what, tell me about you, and I'll tell you about how I work. Just in case, some people I said, you know what? Honestly, I don't think that I'm the right person for you, but I can maybe suggest someone else, or maybe say, why not try just doing this, and then let's come back, because I don't think you need me right now. I think you're doing great, and maybe this. And there's someone say, what? And that makes them want more. But I just know that this would not end well. It would not. I'll either be frustrated because they're not seeing the results that they want in a timely fashion, and then they'll either come back at me and say, well, I don't think this is really working. I don't think this is really doing it for me, when I kind of know what's going on, And there was one time that I had this woman, and this is not my proudest moment, but she kept saying to me that, she kept like, she wasn't losing, something was wrong here. And I'm thinking, this woman's been with me for how many? And I know that something should be, unless she has something's wrong with one of her, what do you call
Pituitary
it? Yeah, gland or something, a glandular problem. It's like, something's not right here. So I told my best friend, Kimmy, my partner in crime, I said, I've got to follow this woman. I've got to find out what she is up to, because something's not right. In my heart of hearts, I don't think that she's really, because she was blaming me. Like, she says, well, this isn't working for me. And I was like, okay, well, maybe, you said this would work. And I was like, wait a minute now. And I knew that I should not have taken her on. This is what you have to know. You have to know in your heart, when you meet someone, they're not right for you. Don't do it. Don't do it. I did it twice in my life. One time with her, and then one time with Barbara Walters. So I shouldn't have done it. That'll remain right there. Yeah. But I remember saying, okay, and watching her leave, and I followed her. And I'm not proud of it. And definitely, something happened that I was, and I had my friend Ken with me, and we were like, then I watched her go into a Dunkin' Donuts. And then I watched her go into a pita place. And then it was just like one after the other, and I was like this, and then this cop caught us and said, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And I was like, and I was like, he says, "Who are you following? What are you doing?" And like,
that's
I was like,
funny,
because we were hiding like this, we were looking at the cops, and I was like, and of course my friend Kim gets nervous. She takes off and leaves me there. I was like, ah, and she just runs like we did something wrong. And the guy had me saying, "What's going on?" I said, Joe, I have to tell you that. I said, you won't really believe this, but I'm really, and I explained it to him. and he was like, post 9/11, you can't be doing things. I was like, I'm sorry, because it must have looked pretty suspicious, because we were like this behind. I said, she's coming out this morning. Just wait, she's coming out. And then she'll come out and she's eating a pita thing with something in it, and she just came from getting a.
So why wasn't she honest with you then?
Because I think that what she said was that.
Yeah. She sounds really reputable.
And I didn't want to actually say to her that I followed you. I said, something's not right here. Yeah. I said, I think that you are taking in a lot more calories than you're saying. And the amount of calories you take in and the amount that you burn is going to give you your body weight, unless you have a problem, a glandular problem or something. And eventually I just had to say, you know what? I'm so sorry. I don't think I'm right for you. And I just think this is not working, because I don't want you to be always upset with me and looking for me to give you free sessions or whatever, because you don't think that I'm working, I'm doing, and I knew the truth of what it was. And I just said, I just know that you're not really working to your potential. Something's not right here.
Why would she bother to engage you in the first place?
I think it was just to have that idea. I mean, sometimes when people have really too much time and money in their hands, they can, get a little turned around in the wrong way. And I think that there was more of a psychological problem that she had than I was really able to really deal with. And it just wasn't meant to be. And I think about that because it taught me a big lesson about making sure that I really vet people to make sure that, because there's a lot of great personal trainers out there that do great work, and they maybe their technique is a bit more for her or for someone else. And so I'm very present, more so I get that experience that really helped me to say, okay, you've got to really, really, and I thought I was, but but then when I think back about it, it was someone who recommended, she was a friend of a friend, you just want to, now all hands on deck. It doesn't matter, look at what happened with the con woman, she played a really good game. I thought she was so legit, and she was in a lot of ways, but then there was other parts of her that you can't really control.
You can never know with those people.
Yeah.
But so the relationship, I'm really so impressed with your ability to establish these relationships with people, just like how you and I met through Kristen. Mm-hmm. Is that normal for you? I mean, I've been hearing about you for so long as a person, her friend Kacy, not knowing that you were even the trainer, let alone, so is that a normal, and you just said just how committed you were, staying with you, it sounded like you were just as committed, if not more, than she was.
Oh yeah, I wanted her to have that fairy tale ending. I wanted Kristen to have everything. I mean, you're right. And that's what it takes. We're partners. When you train with someone, you're really partners, and you really want them, and you will do what you need to do in order to get them the results that they want, but also to elevate them to be able to become their own life's motivation. That is the key, is to really, I love, as much as I love the manipulation of muscle fibers and tissues and watching a body transform, I love the idea of watching the spirit transform and them becoming much more confident and empathetic towards someone else, and because sometimes the ego is not always your amigo.
Mm-hmm. You say that all the time.
And it starts to stink like skunk, and then you're like, oh my God. Because sometimes, I've developed like bodies and they become monsters, and you wonder like, what the heck? And it's all about, but they end up calming down eventually and being understanding that it's really, to rule is truly to serve, and that it's not just about what their bodies, about the essence of what they're giving off to the world. And it's like it jazzes me. I just love to see people, because it's part of what I'm doing, It's like you meet somebody, somehow they change your life too. All the people that I've met, I met you, it's like it's that collective consciousness that you start to develop, and you start to attract the people who are, not that they're carbon copies of you, but that are on a similar trajectory. And then it helps you to stay on your trajectory. And then when someone comes in that's really not right, you get that ding, ding, ding. And I love every single one of my clients that I have now.
That's great.
It's like I'm totally drama free. And it worked a long time to get that. And I have a little funny story that I have to tell you about, that makes you understand that, like, sometimes not every body's meant to stay with you forever, but they always leave like some kind of an impression on you, whatever it might be. You're either better because of it, or sometimes not. But
or you got my attention.
Okay, so I was training Gwen Stefani, and those she's a really great artist and beautiful and great spirit, and I was training her, and we were doing great for the month, and so great. Kind of abruptly, she said, Kacy, I really love you, but I can't train with you anymore. I'm going to go over to this other club because my best friend is training there, and I need to be, I want to be there with him. And I'm like, that club, considering mine, it's like, that's like a junkie kind of a club. I'm like, it's going to remain nameless. And I was like, oh my gosh. And okay. She said, I really love training with you. I don't want you to think it's you. And I was like, okay. And I said, well, it was really nice working with you, and we got along so well, and it was going so great. And then boom, she wasn't there, and I remember going home and saying, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? What was it? And I kept thinking, and then, a year went by, and it's still on my mind, because when, I was just thinking, every time I have someone, especially somebody, I say, well, what did you do you don't want to lose this one like that. You don't want to. And so I was playing almost games with myself, and it was a big lesson for me. I was like, it automatically hit kind of the ego, but also my sense of self. And like, am I doing, do I know enough? Am I this enough? Do I have this? Do I have this? And I start to go and play this game because that one thing. And then a year later, I'm doing a photo thing for Marie Claire magazine. And it was I was fitness, and it was a hair person. It was someone else. And we were all in this article together. And I walked past the room. We were shooting in one of the clubs. And I walked past the room and I saw this guy. And then he was doing one of my exercises that I know I develop, and nobody does it except if you work with me. So I was like, wait a minute, this is one of my signature moves. So I walked in there and I said to him, hey, and I said, you know, Danielle, I said, this is my exercise. Where'd you learn this? And he said, oh my God, you're the trainer. And I was like, what? He says, I got to tell you, Gwen is my friend, and she was going through a really rough moment, and she had just become pregnant again. And she was like, she says, and she was, you know, something was going on in her life. And I had to train at my train. I couldn't come to where you were because I didn't have a membership or whatever. And she came and she showed me all this great trainer that she had that showed her all this cool stuff and how great you were and so nice. And she felt so bad, and she felt like I would probably never want to train her again because she left abruptly. All this year, I'm thinking that this woman didn't like me for something, but then it took one guy in a room doing your stuff. And I walked over and I said to him, that's made me realize that you've got to give what you give, and you have to know in your heart that you've done the best you could. And never everybody stays forever. They may go, but you will always leave something with them. Mm-hmm. And if it's something that is great, that residue is there. That's a great residue. And when he told me that, it just, all this angst just left me. And I said, never again will I just assume that it was something that I did wrong, because you do your best and then you don't. If it's a personality conflict, so be it. Yeah. If it's something that happens, but you have to be really just do the best that you can do, be very present in what you do, and then, you know, like let it go. You know?
So that's easy to say now in retrospect. How do you get other people that you're working with to buy into that? Is it just trust the process?
I mean, I think it is that you come to, you know, we're partners. Yeah. I'm going to do my part, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, and I'm going to be there for you. You have to do your part, because I can't feed you everything in your mouth. I can't watch your thought process. I just know this, if you do this and work with me, you will have a better body, mind, spirit, whatever. I said, just try it. Yeah. And when you really, and that's all I can do. Maybe you have some bumps in the road, and I have to pick you back up, and you'll say, that's so true, Kacy. I didn't think of it that way. And we have to talk. And that's why, you know, when the personal training becomes very personal, because sometimes life stuff happens. Yeah. And you know, I mean, my mom died. It's like people, like they understood, you know, everybody came and whether you're a celebrity, they all came and they tried to elevate me and lift me up out of my sadness. And, you know, you be appreciative for what that is, but that love of people being there to support you really helps, you know, and that's what they were there for. You know, they were there to support, and you take with that, and you either elevate yourself or you just like don't see it, and then you know. But luckily, you know, somehow it works through. And it is a process. It doesn't happen overnight, of course, but the excitement of training, of like really being in a situation where I'm not spoon feeding you and I'm not giving you stupid stuff that, you know, and I'm not saying every trainer will do this, but I believe in giving, especially when you first start, you have to give your clients things that they can do that makes them empower them. Not to give you some, oh gosh, he's a tough trainer. Lucky. I'd rather give them things that they actually can feel the movement and see, you know, how this can really work for them. Even if it's not as overly creative as they may, you know, that pushing a heavy weight. It's like trying to empower them for positive change by giving them things that they can see that they can do. And some people work in the opposite way. They think by being tough and hard and giving them stuff that they have to struggle with, that's the way to get a client and to help them to develop this way, I feel. And I've seen it as much.
So how do you figure out with what type of prototype or what type of person that you're, you know, working with? So you could have two different people that you put on completely different plans.
Yeah. Always, because some people come and they need more of the mindset part. Some people come, they need more of the emotional, spiritual part, or I'm sorry, the spiritual mindset part. Some people come and they've done all the modalities in the world, and their physical is like so amazing, but they need all of it because they're so into the physical flash that they can't see anything else. They don't even realize that they're like endorphin addicts. So they just sit there saying, I just want to, and it's like, oh my God. All of a sudden they start to like really relax and get into the fact that movement is a privilege, that they can do this, that they actually can, like, you know what? I think I am going to take off today. And sometimes they just say, they say, well, Kacy, I said, don't do anything for the next 2 days. They go, what? They don't do anything because their bodies are just worn out.
So, and then how can you tell that? Again, is that more intuition, or is there certain tests that you're doing, or are you familiar with like what Orange Theory is?
Yes.
Are you familiar, how much of all of those things are going into factoring into that equation of advice that you're giving them?
I think it's kind of a combo. Like, you have to know after so many years, for some years in this business, you kind of know when if someone is really, they come in and they just want to constantly always move, and they just like, well, I did cardio yesterday, I did this, and I did water, and I did this yesterday, and I did bling this one, and I did over here, I did, like this movement class, and it's never ending. And they come to you and say, I just want to just give me everything. Just give me everything. You can tell by that personality that personality is like, okay, they need to calm down, because they're addicted to the adrenaline rush. They're addicted to the endorphin rush, and that's what they want more of. They forgot about anything else, and their bodies and the skin they're bony, and the skin is hanging off, and they look kind of drawn.
So what do you do?
You have to tell them, you've got to talk to them. You got to say, you've got to calm down. You try taking 2 days off. You will see how better your body will look. And sometimes they were like, oh, and I said, you have to just take 2 days off. I said, that's what I'm off. I said, I'll see you on this day. And they go, what? I said, do nothing. Watch the magic. And that's a big word when I say watch the magic. They go, oh, okay. And they'll try it. So it is about the relationship you have with a client, but it's also what they will buy into. And sometimes I have to use a little bit of magic here and there. I have to use a little bit, my intuitive stuff, and saying, I zoned in on your body, which I have, because sometimes they say, well, you're doing what? And they go, Kacy's like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, because they're like, here she goes, her woo-woo stuff. But I'm actually really asking the body, give me the fastest way to get to the results that they want. And I can feel it, and I can see it. And it's like, and I'm not the only trainer who can do this. I'm not the only person who does it in different ways. But I want to be very present, and I want to see, what it is that they need. And I'm looking at you, and I'm like, I'm afraid. I'm like, it's just talking to me.
We need a wall here.
Navel to spine.
So
it is a process. So I have to. And sometimes it's trial and error. I mean, it is.
I'm sorry.
It is. But it is a technique that I develop, and I will try. Sometimes I say more than 98, it always works. Even with the person who is an endorphin addict and they've just done so many modalities, they come to me, they've done it all. But they heard that I could make them. They've just done it all. And that's some of the toughest clients that I have. And when they thought they've done it all. And then I just have to break it down a little bit, break it. And when they say, wow, I said, because sometimes their bodies, they think they look sexy and they don't.
Yeah.
And I was like, healthy body is a new sexy body. And I would say that all the time, the healthy body is a new sexy body, because they think by having like either really muscles or have like they just look so lean that it's almost painful to look at them. And then when I have them relax and then let their muscles just relax a little bit, and then you'll see the lines in the fibers and it just kind of just looks pretty, and I like a body to look pretty. Not, even with my like bodybuilder guys, or, when guys like, I train Lenny Kravitz, and when I look at his body and he said, you do some Michelangelo shit, Kacy, you make a body look pretty. And that's what I like. I like when you think about that, because I like muscle manipulation. But I like men to have a sense of grace as well as women, because men think it's all about the pump, pump, pump. When they see me using lighter weights with them and doing like cables or different movements, they go, wow, I didn't really think because men should have a sense of grace also. It's a balance, it's a feminine, masculine energy that should be very much in balance. And they think it's all about that. And then when they come to me and I'm like, no, that's too heavy. Do this one. They go, oh my God, this is killing me. It's like they think it's just about, the pump. And not the elongation of the body.
So it sounds to me like you're good at getting the best of what someone's got to work with. Almost like, double
and it's no
down
one size fit all. I mean, sometimes people need more of the physical, the mindset, the whatever. I mean, it's whatever needs to be strengthened, because if you strengthen one, like I say, you become stronger. But if you strengthen all three, you can really see, the potential.
But what about when you're dealing with, back to the celebrities, like the celebrities that have to do, they have to kind of transform their body for a role. Like I forgot the gal's name. She was a model. She was in the movie Monster. She won an award. She had to put on all this weight.
Charlize Theron.
Yeah, her. Mm-hmm. Someone like, I've never seen anyone change their body type so much.
I love that. I'd love to have jobs like that. That's so great.
Oh, really? Like I mean,
it's because then they're very present because they have to. Remember what was it? I think it was Courage and Defy. What I have Denzel? He had to be bigger because he's going to play an alcoholic, or you have even Hurricane when work with him, and it's like you have the time to like really look at a body and they say we need him to be like this for this, and I'll go, oh, okay. That's exciting, and it's like you have your partners in this, and it's not like they want that. This is the role that they need to have, and so they would do whatever, and they want to do it healthily, of course. That's why they have people who trainers that can help you to gain weight, or I could do it all. So it's not as difficult as you think. It's more of a that's like, suppose you have you're doing all of suppose you're like a painter and you're supposed to paint this, and they give you a special project and you're like, okay. And you do. So it's the same thing, you just, it's a job, and the end result is to have them look like this, and you work on it until you have it. If anything, they're so present with that it's all good. They don't go off anything. They have to have this for this role. They will do it, and so.
What about the non-celebrity? So someone who's listening to this might say, wow, Kacy's someone that I can relate to. She's someone that would get me, Can the non-celebrity reach out to you?
Of course. Yeah. I have more non-celebrities than I have celebrities. I mean, celebrities come and go, but your bread and butter clients are clients who come to you, and I have clients that have been with me for so many years, and that's, 10, 15 years. It's like, we're golden. I said, you're in the golden years. And then I have clients that have been with me for, a year or 2 years. And sometimes you're not there forever. Sometimes you're there for what you need, and then you move on, and then you come back to me whenever you want a little refresher. I'm not into keeping clients forever. It doesn't bother me. I think that's one of the things that Gwen Stefani thing really taught me, is that, do what you can do, and then, let them go, butterflies free, and the next thing. And that I think has been helpful for me, because when some people just come to me for this long, I said, no, you don't need me right now. Don't come. Please see you when I see you, because you know what you do, and that helps them to become their own life's motivation. I don't want them to be, married to a personal trainer for the rest of their lives. They should be. I love it when I hear someone say, I saw Julianne Moore in the gym and she was doing this great exercise. That makes me feel good when they're there doing stuff without me, and they, or they'll say, what I did the other day? I did this and this and this. That jazzes me. So I always get, if you want homework, if you're going away, I'll send you some videos of you doing the exercise, and do this while you're away. Yeah. So, I think that came out of that lesson, with Gwen, to always make sure that you allow for that, because it's important for them to go out there and be without you. It's always somebody else is coming in new, it's just what it is. And if you really can't train with me, you can buy a book, you can get a video. It's like when you can't afford a Chanel suit, get a Chanel lipstick. Makes you feel good, it's something for everybody, it's not like, you can go out there and do something. It's, personal training is a very, a personal thing and a good thing. And everybody should try to, do as much as they can for their bodies. If they can't really afford it, there's always there are books, there are videos, there's YouTube, there's gyms. I mean, investigate, create your own workout, for yourself.
What do you think? Do you see one or two consistent things that people do wrong when it comes to their image?
One or two.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are a lot, but is there one or two consistent things? Are there, it's just a bad diet, or, they're constantly, just like you said, men are always just looking to bulk up when maybe, again, you're certain body types, you're certain bone structures, you're just not going to support a certain type of workout or work regime, So,
I think that the one thing that I do see, is that it's always something from the past that they have been.
So it's psychological.
Sometimes, yeah, they come in because it could have been someone told them they were too fat, someone told them that they weren't good enough or didn't look good enough, or or they didn't get a role because of something, that they were not the right size, or sometimes it comes in with that. They come in with a bit of lack of a better, like a little bit of self-hatred. I don't know too many clients that have come in and said, I feel really great about myself and I just want to add a little something. And I think you're the one to do it for me, Kacy. I love everything about me, but I think you can give me a little something. I don't get too many of those.
So it's mental. I mean, a lot of this stuff is mental.
Emotional.
Like okay.
It's really emotional. And that mindset of something that has happened, will make them feel like, well, I've never been able to do that. Even when I was, they used to call me this. Somehow it'll come out. They come in first, really, they just hate something and it'll come out. Well, you know what? I had this guy that told me I was fat so much and that he left me because I was fat. Or I have somebody say, you know what? I had this girl that said that I wasn't manly looking enough and I wasn't this enough. It'll always come out that there's something there that they need to integrate to say that was then and it might have happened. And yes, that was it, but that was their opinion. And in order for you to really, you got to do it for you. That might have been the catalyst to get you in here. But now that you're in here, it's all about you and me and what you can do to transform your body. And it's all about, what do you want your body? Look, give me your wish list. Let me hear what you want to do. Let's find out what your body can do. Before you know it, they have a body that they, even if it's not as perfect as someone may think, they feel good about the work they've done, the transformation that they've seen, and whether they got thinner thighs or a tighter ass or, leaner arms. There's something that's going to show through when you do the work, when you exercise, when you do cardio, when you eat better, you're going to see something's going to happen. Something is going to happen. You're not, unless you're going to have that and you're just like eating like a garbone and you're doing nothing but laying around and like, this is it for me. And you show up just for that one. So
what is your biggest challenge then? What is it that you have to overcome, whether it's consistently with a client or maybe just in your business in general?
Personally, me.
Yes.
I think for me, I'm a bit hard on myself. I've made some mistakes, trust-wise with businesses that I thought that would take care of me because we went in this and I was a team player and we were going to do this together and we were going to do this. And I love to be a team player. I love the idea of building something together, but I realized that you need to take care of yourself. And I had to learn the hard way. And I think that the thing for me is to make sure that I take care of me. I think it comes down to making sure that I do the right thing for me. I have to practice what I preach. I every time I walk out of my house, I said, I have to walk my talk.
Well, it didn't harden whatever happened to you. And I know what you're referring to from a previous conversation, but it still hasn't hardened you, where maybe most people would be resentful, which I'm sure there's some resent going on there, but
I mean, you know what, I maybe forgive, but I might not forget, and I think that it's definitely there to remind me. And now I take care of everything. I make sure I got legal stuff done. I make sure I got that. But sometimes there's a hard lesson there. So to walk my talk and to take care of me, because I'm such a caretaker of everybody else, that I have to make sure that I take care of me, because I love taking care of them. I love seeing people, I love to see them elevate to, but sometimes I come home, I'm drained. I got to sage my house, sage me. I just got to find a way to come back. And I realized that well,
you're an empathizer, so you're absorbing other people's energy.
Exactly. So I really make sure that I take care of me, because you could easily come and just say, flop down, look at the news and say, okay, I'm done. But I have to make sure I take baths, and I make sure I sage, and I make sure I do my spiritual work. I make sure that I do my gratitude work. I make sure, because it keeps me in line with what really matters, and that is, that everybody, we're all in this kind of journey together. And, there's good and bad people, but you got to look for the good in people. And I don't want anybody to ever, they'll never make me look for the worst in people.
I want to talk about that before I let you go, because that was something that you said at lunch that I thought was great about how you look. I forgot exactly how you worded it, but essentially you're always looking for the good in people. Yeah. That's the lens in which you look through. Yeah. So that's your focal point? Was that when you first meet someone? Is that something just in every day?
Every day.
That's something every time you interact?
You can be miserable, you can be this, not everything. I told you I came up, my elevators were being serviced in this big building, and we had 8 elevators, and 6 of them are down, and it's like a building of 40-something floors, and it's like we're all waiting, and I'm trying to get to the car to you, and I'm like, what the fork is going on? It's like you get a little... You just got to breathe a little bit, and you have to just, it is what it is, and you have to know how to come back for it, because it can make you so hardened and so you're pissed off at everything. Yeah. And, but, and things that happen to you in your life, you can always be like, I'm not going to let that happen. But when you look for the good stuff happens. You get the good stuff, and it really does, it works.
Awesome. That's good. I like that. Anything else before I let you go? We promoted we got to get are you allowed to say what it's going to be called?
It's called, it's the Anna Delphi story, and I believe it's going to be on Netflix. I'm sure it's coming out next year, because I just started filming, and Laverne Cox is playing me, which I'm excited. Yep. And I have a new site called Defying Physique, and it's all about.
Is it because you're 40?
I wish. Yeah. Nah, I don't wish.
How old are you?
I'm 61.
Good for you.
Maybe a little older. Yeah. I was going to say, I'm going to be 70. And then people are like, oh, yeah, right. You're really... Yeah. But no, I'm in my 60s for sure. And
so say this website again one more time.
It's called Age Defying Physique.
Okay, good.
And it's a subscription base that you sign up, and you're going to get age defying everything from food to, knowledge to everything that's age defying, because you don't want to deny your age, because that's kind of a negative thing. Be proud of who you are. And I know that I didn't tell my age for a very long time until I turned 60. And what a feeling of relief that is to just be who you are. And I think that what society is trying to give you everything that you should look like, the times are different. We don't age like our parents. It's a different day and age for us. And I think that's when the mindset really comes in. Age is nothing but a number. But you also want to have foods. I like avocado. You want to have, financial help to help you as you get older. People, not everybody has a pension coming up, so it's for everything, even from a 20-year-old to a 90-year-old. Just things you can do to maintain your youthfulness and enjoy your life, because it's your very life of lives. And
this is separate from your normal business. This is a different. This is total different. Okay, gotcha.
This is separate than Kacy. You definitely can go to KacyDukeFitness.com and the website.
Kacy spelled Kacy.
Kacy.
Yeah.
And so just keep looking for Age Defying. This should be launching soon. And in the meantime, you can definitely come to my website and sign up, and we can transfer it over. It's a lot. I do great videos. I have great podcasts. I'm having you on.
Yeah, all right. Well, tell me about your podcast.
So that is all part of the, it's all part of the age defying, because I want to know about people and how they feel about aging and what's the secret. I mean, you look great. Your skin is great. You look great. You have kids, you have a wife. It's like, how do you maintain that? How do you feel about aging? Is it a problem for you, or is it like, what do you do to be proud of it? Because, you could die tomorrow. You can kick the bucket. You can't take any of this stuff with you.
Nothing.
So how you living?
Yeah.
And I think that when you really are present, you look better. And that's why every client that comes to me, when they get on the program, they look younger. They always say, they say I got a Benjamin Buttons gene, and I'm beginning to believe them because, it does. Every year I feel like I get younger and younger, and my clients, they look younger and better, and they say, there's something to this. There's something to this being of self-love.
That's awesome. That is beautiful. Well, I so appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And thanks to Kristen for
thank you, Kristen.
Thank you, Kristen.
It wouldn't happen without you. Awesome.